Hi everyone, I am going to show you how to use the Gale Biography and Context database. And I chose this tech tool because it offers very powerful features that can help you organize your research. You will use it to address the Knowledge Constructor ISTE standards for students. Specifically, 3A, students plan and employ effective research strategies and locate information and other resources for their intellectual or creative pursuits. And 3C, students curate information from digital resources using a variety of tools and methods to create collections of artifacts that demonstrate meaningful connections or conclusions. So let me show you just a brief overview of how you can use this tool. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you are signed in with your MCPS Google account. So you can see that I am already signed in. I clicked on this little G here and put in my password, and I know I'm signed in because it has my first name. So let's just say, as an example, that I'm working on a research paper presentation on Abraham Lincoln. So if I type in Lincoln, I can click on his name, and it will take me to a page that has some quick facts about him. So kind of something similar to what you might find in on a Wikipedia page. And I'm going to say no thanks, but it is always nice to give feedback when you can. Sometimes you get this request from Gale. And you'll see that if you scroll down, it gives you all different types of resources. So lots of different resources, but all great information. And if you scroll down, you can see there's different media, there's audio, there's magazines, there's newspaper articles, there's academic journals. But let's just say, for the sake of brevity, and to show an example, let's say I'm working on a research project and I have to do a Google Slides presentation, and I know that I need a primary source for this presentation. So if I look at the different types of resources here, I see that I can click on primary sources right here. So if I click on that, it's going to show me what is available to me as a primary source. And I do want you just to note that there are ways to filter the results you get. So there's only 3 here, so I don't really need to do a lot of filtering to try and narrow down exactly what I need. But if there was an overwhelming amount of resources listed here, and I know I need it from a certain date, for example, I could do date published. And you see that there are other qualifiers that you can filter with. But back to our example, let's just say that I know I need to cover the assassination of President Lincoln in my research presentation. So that looks like a perfect primary source for me. So if I click on it, it's going to show me the article, and I know if I need to translate it into a different language, I can choose that option here. If I'd like for the font size to be bigger, maybe that is easier for me to read it with a bigger font size, I can change that here. If it would be helpful for me to listen to it while I read it, I could do that. But for this example, I'm just going to quickly read through it, and let's say while I'm reading through it, I know that I want to use these first 2 sentences in my presentation. So I can highlight it, I can make it a pretty color, and let's say I know that I want to use that for my first slide. So I'm going to just type a note here so that I can remember that for later, and then I save it. And let's say I keep reading and I know I want to use this whole paragraph in my presentation, but I want it for slide 2. So I'm going to make it a different color, and I'm going to add a note that I want this for my slide 2. Now I can add any kind of note here. It doesn't just have to be where I think I want it in my final project. It could be some kind of reflection, it could be an analysis, it could be like, don't forget this part connects with that. You can use that note section however you need to. So let's save that, and let's just pretend like I've read through the whole resource, and I want to save the work I've done, the research I've done, with this resource in a place that I can get to easily. It does all save in this database, but I don't come to this database regularly. What I do go to regularly is my Google Drive. So I'm going to click on this Google Drive icon right here, and it tells me that it has been sent to my Google Drive, and I say okay. So if I were to go to my drive, and let's see, it's going to take me, if you're logged into multiple Google accounts, it might default to, like, this is my personal account, so I always have to switch it to my NCPS account. Make sure you're in the right Google Drive. And then I will see that the article I was just reading in the biography and context database will show up in my drive, and it creates this cute little orange folder down here, Gail in context biography. So anything I do in that database and save to my drive will show up here. And if we open that resource, this is the exact document I was just looking at in the actual database. You'll see that it has all of my highlights. And if I scroll all the way down, it has everything I've highlighted plus my notes all in one place. So I really like how it creates this nice little package that I can use to create my final product. So it's a really, really wonderful way to organize your research. And one of my favorite features of this database is that it gives you your whole citation you need. So all I would have to do is copy and paste this exact citation and put it into my Works Cited, and it's all set for me. So I really love this database, and there are a whole lot of pros to it. I only showed you kind of the tip of the iceberg. The one con I would say about this specific database is that it's really only helpful if you're working on a research project on a specific person, because it's the biography database. However, I will say that the skills that you use in this database can be transferred to any other Gale database that you have access to. So we have several Gale databases, including one in literature and history, and several more. So everything that you can do in this Gale database, you can also do in any other Gale database. And this tool allows us to hit the augmentation step of the SAM-R tech model. So it allows us to organize our research digitally and access it digitally anytime, anywhere that we can get to our Google Drive. Instead of doing the old traditional pen and paper notes. Like I showed you, it helps you, or it really organizes the research for you in that nice little package at the end of the document, which is awesome. And it really could lead to the modification step in the SAM-R model, because it offers that Google Doc, which we can use Google to collaborate with our friends and colleagues. So if this was not an individual project but a group project, then we could use this document here to collaborate and create our final product. So that's pretty awesome. And then if we look at the TPACK model, it really hits the TCK in TPACK, which is our technological content knowledge. And what that means is that it shows how you know how to use the digital tools to enhance and transform the content. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoy using this database, and if you have any questions, let me know.